Well, welcome back to our Cuse Connection series, Orange in Tokyo, or at least the Orange that were in Tokyo. We welcome in Katie Zaferes, a double medal winner at the Tokyo Olympics. Katie, congratulations. I imagine that must have been the experience of a lifetime.
Thank you so much. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was exceeded expectations, both in experience and also in my performance as well.
I guess to check in, we're calling this Orange in Tokyo. You're no longer there. Where in the world are you right now?
So I just got into Montreal. We're racing already again this weekend. Friday we have a race, but I'm currently in a 3-day quarantine, so no leaving the room, and I just have my bike set up, and that's the only thing I have access to.
That's amazing. I mean, you come off the biggest sporting event in the world, you get medals, and now this is basically right. You're back to your regular season here a week and a half later.
Yeah, I mean, for everybody, it's a different choice, but for me, I was starting to gain momentum leading into the Olympics, and I just really want to go with that. With my series right now, I'm sixth, and I feel like I can maybe have some good performances for these last two races and bring my standings either there or better.
Yeah, hey, you were world champ a few years ago, so why not keep it rolling here at this point? And okay, let's go back to your race. So your individual race, if I'm correct, that was legitimately the first full day of competition after the opening ceremonies and all that. When you hit the starting line and you're ready to go, what goes through your head at a moment like that when you know you have a chance to do something special?
I mean, one of my mantras leading into the race was I'm ready and I know how to do this. And that was a huge part of what I wanted to bring into this race because in Tokyo, I felt like it was I wanted just to use everything I'd learned since Rio over these past 5 years, and that was really what I was thinking about, was just that I'm capable. And I mean, this season started out a little rough for me, so it's just a little bit of a reminder that I can do this, and like, let's go, it's just triathlon.
Yeah, and you've done plenty of them here in the last the decade or so. And we'll get into your previous part of the year here coming up, and you've been through every emotion that exists on Earth here in the last few months for sure. But okay, the race is going. You know these competitors. You race against them all the time. When did you realize that you were going to medal in the Olympics?
Well, I realized it was going to be a good day when I was having a good swim. Like basically 100 meters into the swim, I found myself in third position, and my first swims of this season hadn't been quite like that. So it was really good just to feel good in the swim and come out of the water in a confident place. And once I saw who we were with on the bike, it was a small pack of really strong riders. I knew I was that also made me feel a lot more confident. And then on the run, I like getting off the bike. I still wasn't sure how the run was going to go. You never really do. I mean, that first step onto the blue carpet after dismounting the bike, it can always be quite telling. But one of my goals was to do the first 1K really hard and really connect. And Flora Duffy, who went on to win the race quite dominantly. I lasted with her for maybe, I don't even know if it was 1 kilometer, but it set me up to like have the momentum leading into that run race. And I saw that there was really no one closing on us super fast. And so my goal during it was just keep focused, stay in the moment, don't get too far ahead of me. So I'm not actually sure I ever felt like I was for sure going to get that medal until maybe the last like 100 meters of the run when I could see the finish line and knew no one else was there.
Well, you can certainly see it on your face in all the pictures of you at the finish line and the videos of just the exuberation and the joyfulness in your face. I know your husband Tommy's a fellow triathlete. He was there at the finish line. What's that moment when you can sort of lock eyes with him when you're coming home and you see all these familiar faces at that point?
It was just an amazing feeling. Just to, I think, well, Tommy definitely knows for sure how this year has been for me, and Flora as well. She was celebrating before I crossed the finish line coming down, and I think it just felt so good to just know we did it, and just knowing how many people had helped me get to that start line, helped me kind of regroup and believed in me as much as I believed in myself, because that was it. I got selected for the Olympics through a discretionary position, which had some really, really good athletes who could have been selected. And for me to be selected, I was super grateful I was on the starting line, and to be able to medal and show them that they made a good selection felt as good for myself as it did to show everyone else.
And Katie, you've said a few times how tough this year has been. And we certainly in the Syracuse community pass along our condolences for the loss of your dad back in April. Shocking and out of the blue when it happens like that. How did you get through all that to get back where you were? It would have been understandable, if anything, if you kind of just took the rest of the year off and said, I can't do it at this point. How did you take that with you to the Tokyo Olympics?
I mean, it was really hard. It's the hardest thing I've ever experienced in my life. My dad was really one of the most significant human beings in my life. And for him to pass away, it was really hard. And for him to pass away and then get back into triathlon and try to regroup for races that were pretty soon after he passed away was just really challenging, but I was able to do it because I have an amazing support crew between my coach, my teammates, my husband, my family, my friends, the triathlon community. And I think that's also what made this race even more special and meaningful was kind of just the support I'd gotten from everyone at my lowest, at those lowest moments, and then to be able to celebrate with them at one of the highest moments. And my dad, like I had always said that he would be one of the only spectators at my race in Tokyo after he passed away. And partway through the bike, I saw a rainbow off to the side, like right by Rainbow Bridge in Tokyo. And I just thought, oh, that's his way of showing me he's here. And I just gave a little hi, Dad, and then refocused on the race. But I mean, it's just so nice to feel like he was there and to also know how many people have helped me along this whole journey, but it really meant so much during this time when I just felt like I really needed to lean on people.
Yeah, it was amazing to hear you tell that story about seeing the rainbow initially. And you mentioned Flora Duffy sort of hugging you at the finish line. And you certainly know better than I. It feels like in triathlon, especially, it's a very individual race. But at the same time, you know this community, you all know how hard your sport is to literally just to start and finish is an accomplishment in your sport. It really feels like whenever you guys get to the finish line, there's a lot of support amongst you back and forth.
Yeah, I think that's what makes triathlon so special. And that was also a big change for me from Rio. When I was on the start line, I just felt like everyone was competitors and I didn't really know everyone. I just gotten started in the sport at that time.
Hmm.
And then over these years, I've given myself permission to meet people and have fun with my competitors and be friends with them. And it's been so much, it's a game changer because you start on the start line not intimidated or feeling like you don't know the people, just having a connection with everyone. I mean, we were doing this before the race. It was me, the Brits, and Summer Rappaport, and we were just practicing starts together on the start line. And I mean, it's just a cool feeling to go into it. Of course, everybody wants to finish first and cross that finish line at the first person, but you are actually working together. And even on the bike, it's like our little pack wanted to get away, so we were all going to have to work together if we wanted
Hmm.
to do that.
Katie, okay, so you get the individual bronze. Now, pardon my ignorance here. They added the new events here, and they're working on gender equity throughout the Olympics, doing a lot of these mixed relays. They had them in swimming in the pool. They had them on the track. I did not know until the race started that you had one in triathlon. What is that event like to be a part of? Where to call the sprints the wrong thing, but instead of 2 hours, you're going 20 some odd minutes and four competitors. That seemed like a pretty cool event to be a part of.
The mixed relay is it's my favorite event because it's just really cool as having the dynamic with two men and two women from each country on the team. You each do a short triathlon, so a 300-meter swim, about a 6K bike, and a 2K run, and then you tag off to the next person, and it goes female, male, female, male, and you have to have four athletes turn up ready to go on the same day, ready to really execute their race. And for the Americans, we've always had really strong women, but our men haven't been quite as dependable, I guess, for the relay. And I really think this extra year that we were given because of the postponement really helped us. And our men, Kevin McDowell and Morgan Pearson, were ready to go and did an amazing job in the relay. And Kevin also placed sixth, which is the highest finish for men in the Olympics for USA Triathlon. So to be able to do that together, and also we really got to get to know each other even better leading into the race, because we all train with different coaches, and um, they train more in similar places, but I'm usually in Europe or international. So leading into the race, we were having all of our meals together, going to train together, and it just really enhanced the camaraderie between us, so that when it came to the race, we all were really doing it for one another. And it was just a spectacular feeling, and really cool to just see everyone show up on the same day.
Well, pretty cool to see. And then you get the silver out of it. You are the first, Katie, Syracuse University athlete since literally the 1920s to win multiple medals in one Olympic Games. So a pretty cool thing to have said about you. And the important question is, where are the medals right now? Are you lugging them around the world? Are they at home, a safe deposit box? What are you doing with those things?
They're at home. They're at home. I do not trust myself with traveling with anything that is valuable, really, because I'm known for misplacing things, and those are two things I don't want to misplace. So stay at home.
I'd say that would be a heck of a thing to put through the X-ray, right? It's airport security. All right, here's my silver medal, and I've taken my liquids out of the bag too.
Well, they did have to do them in when you're going through security to take them home, and my bag actually got taken out to like the extra security, like it'd gone through the first one, and then it got put to the side, and the employee was like, "Oh, like what?" And then when he realized, he's like, "Oh, you don't have to open it. You don't have to like." And I'm like, "No, no, it's fine."
It's like I will. I'll gladly. I'll take it out. I'll put it on. I'll do whatever you want with it. Just why not? Why not show it off at airport security? All right. So you're two Olympics in, and obviously completely different results for you. But what was the Olympic experience like this time? Last time you got a full Olympic experience in Rio. This time, obviously, you couldn't go out and see the town. You couldn't do a lot of stuff. You didn't get to interact with as many people. How different was just the general Olympics of it for you this time?
Well, to be honest, it was a better Olympic experience than Rio for me. Part of it, I think, is just because personally, one of my goals was to take in the experience more than I had in Rio. We were pretty late in the Rio Olympics, and so we were the second to last race or second to last event. By the time I raced, I was pretty focused on my race in Rio, and then by the time it was over and I was disappointed, basically the Olympics was over. And because our venue was in the Copacabana, it was about 2 hours from the village. We stayed in a hotel and didn't actually stay in the village until after our race and everyone had left. So for me, going to be in the village for the whole time in Tokyo, I mean, it was an amazing experience. We were around all the other athletes and getting to know people from other countries, trading pins. Like we had like barriers at the dining hall, wore masks and did hand sanitizer. So there's like all those protocols in place, but to me it didn't take away, it's all the things we've been used to for now for quite some time. So for me it didn't take away from the experience. It was just really nice to be in the village surrounded by the atmosphere of the Olympics and feeling a lot of support from all the people who are on the ground supporting us and working. And so I thought, like for me, I thought it was a really good experience, and I really enjoyed it and felt really welcomed, and I'm going away with really good memories. And that was even before the performances and before I raced. I was like, no matter what happens here, like I'm going away with good vibes and good feelings.
You mentioned the dining hall. You hear about some of these stories over the Olympics that, like Usain Bolt was just pounding chicken nuggets before he ran a world record over in Beijing. What's for offer there? What's a triathlete and Katie Zaferes eating at the Olympic Village after you've gone as hard as humanly possible for 2 hours?
Well, after I've gone as humanly possible, I asked for a burger. I was doing media obligations, and I asked for the USA Triathlon media coordinator if she could get me a burger. So she did.
I'd say after 2 hours, right? Like you're not worried about what the calories are going in. You're just trying to get anything possible.
No, but to be fair, I eat burgers all the time, so it makes it
All right.
taste good, even better at the moment.
All right, that makes the rest of us feel better. The fuel of champions. Get yourself some cheeseburgers over there. So, you get the two medals this time. Paris 2024, is that in your thoughts and plans here? How long can you do this as a world class triathlete?
Good question. Our priorities are a bit different, probably leading in the next couple of months and years. My husband and I would really like to start a family, but obviously we don't really dictate that timeline. So I want to keep doing triathlon until that happens, and I love what I do. So until I need to change it or adapt it, that's what I'm going to do. With Paris 2024, I am in undecided, not going to go either way for a commitment, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'd say the Olympics or a baby, either one's pretty good. And we saw here the other day, really the last week of the Olympics was so much about Allison Felix and what she's done in becoming a mom. When you talk about gender equity in the Olympics, and we've seen a lot of stories like Allison and other Olympians that have had children and then had to fight through sponsorship issues and whatnot to come back. What goes through your mind with seeing that at least starting to be recognized and improved here throughout these Olympics?
Well, for sure, watching it improve is amazing. I mean, before I think it would seem like nearly impossible to continue to triathlon or whatever sport it is and still have the support of sponsors. But I know I have amazing sponsors who would stand by me, and it's really neat seeing other moms at the Olympics. And I think that's just getting better and better, which it needs to be. So
Mhm.
it makes it more possible for us. And as for whether it's the thing that I want to do, I'm not sure yet. I think that's something you have to make a decision at when you're a mom, and whether it fits or not. So we'll see what happens.
No, the good news is you don't have to decide today, so that is
Yes.
a good thing going forward. And lastly, I want to ask you about. We know you're such a big supporter of your alma mater, and everyone back here in Syracuse was so excited for your success. Yourself won the two medals. Jenna Kyra, who I believe was in school at basically the same time as you, won a bronze medal with the Canadian softball team, and Jeremy Grant got the gold medal with the USA basketball team. So a huge Olympic success for Syracuse athletes. So what's that like for you to see multiple Orange athletes at the games and to still have that relationship right now?
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, I was really hoping to see Coach Fox, who was at the games with some other athletes, and we missed each other just by a couple days. But Syracuse was, I mean, where I really started understanding what high performance was all about. And I remember doing like my first stride, and Coach Fox was like, "What was that?" And I was like, I don't know. Like I had a lot of learning to do, but they helped me start believing in myself that I could do better and bigger things. And I mean, I still stay in contact with a lot of my teammates and Coach Fox and Coach Bell, and like the Syracuse community, from professors to fellow classmates. And it's really cool to be able to just have other Orange who are at at the Olympics. I mean, Justin Knight was also there and had a great performance in the 5K. So, oh, now I'm getting confused, but
He
I think
won.
it's 5K.
Yeah, he won 5K.
Yeah. Um, so so it just feels really neat to like go and still have a community there, and I just feel really supported by Syracuse, whether I'm there in person or far away. I've always felt like an Orange, and always an Orange.
Well, that's awesome here. And you mentioned Coach Chris Fox, and he was there with Justin. He got sort of tagged onto the Canadian coaching team for Justin's 5K. And how about that? He went seventh in his Olympic debut, and it was only the world record holder that took off with 400 meters to go that made it a little tricky. So we talk about Paris 2024. Whether you're there or not, Katie, it looks like the future is going to be pretty strong here for other Orange athletes.
Oh, for sure. I have zero doubt that that we won't be well represented with or without me.
All right, Katie, it was great to see your success in Tokyo and back in the regular season. So good luck this week in Montreal, and best of success going forward.
Thank you so much.